Hello, Humanoid. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Before I get into the game, I just want to ask about the crowd and the atmosphere here. How does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, playing for Fnatic it always feels pretty good because there's always a lot of fans in this team, so feels great.
Have you gotten used to like playing on Fnatic? It's been a while. But has it been here with like going to internationals, having all the big team like big supports around you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I am used to it now, but at the start it was like coming from Mad Lions, we had for sure a lot less fans, even though there was still a lot. So it's a big difference, but I'm used to it now.
Yeah, I mean it's great to hear that you're very excited, and I also want to talk about the game because that was a very great win over BDS. But it started out with you guys losing. Did you have any fears throughout that period?
I mean, I thought that we would still come back because if I'm playing Smolder and I manage to farm a lot until late game, we can always win the game. I think they made a lot of mistakes in snowballing the lead, so they gave us a lot of chances to come back, and we took them.
Yeah, that was a humanoid smolder there. That was very stacking, very efficient. And I also think like until that one last fight, there was no fight in the game. There was like no big fighting, and both teams played very completely calm and rational. Did you expect it to be like that before the start of the game?
Um, I think if the enemy team is ahead, it should be pretty hard for us to actually do much because they have like a really long range team comp. So I think it's normal that there's not that many fights unless we find a good engage on Vi. So yeah, I mean the games are like this when both have like kind of a long range team comp. It should be a bit like more slow with less fighting.
Hmm. I was speaking to 113 beforehand, and he said, even though they lost, you guys maybe should have played with more aggressive approach with like Y and Rel. Do you also share that opinion, or do you think you were like planning to play this way all the time before the start?
Yeah, I think for sure we should have engaged a lot more. I think they were many times out of position and we didn't manage to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why they kind of played in our face and we didn't go on them. Yeah.
I also want to ask because this was your fifth win. Now you guys are locked in, if I'm not mistaken. You guys are locked in for the regional like next tournament. Are you happy about that? How do you feel about that?
For playoffs, you mean? Or
Yeah, you're for playoffs. You're locked for playoffs. If
yeah, I mean yeah. I mean if we didn't make playoffs, then I would probably I don't know what I would do.
that would be very
So
unfortunate. That would be very hard.
yeah, I think it's expected that we make playoffs.
Because you guys had like new team members before the start of this split. Did you expect it to be this good right away, or were there any growing pains throughout the start?
Yeah, I kind of expected us to be really good from the start since I already played with Upset a few years ago, so I know he's really good. And Mickey obviously has been at the top for a very long time. So
Yeah, you've seen Mickey a lot.
yeah, so I mean I was usually losing to him, so now I can have him in my team, so it's pretty good.
And yeah, I mean, you're going to play you're going to play Fearless in the next tournament. I forget the name. It's playoffs, right? Yeah, it's playoffs. You are going to play Fearless drafts in playoffs. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I'm kind of excited, but I think it will also make like draft have a lot more factor. So
Yeah.
you might actually like lose the worst team because you mess up in draft, since it's kind of hard to actually always prepare for this when there's so many champions banned and so many like variables. So I think it's better for the worst teams for sure, but it should be fun.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you're going to see it in action anyways, but we've seen it in action in LCK and LPL. Have you watched those?
Yeah, I mean we've seen a lot of like new champions, usually from Damwon. I've seen they picked a lot of like weird champions, so I'm excited to do the same.
And we're going to see that in LEC. Are you like, what do you think the teams will pivot towards, like, in your opinion?
I think probably like everyone will have their kind of pocket picks that they will save for when there's like four bands already in the row, and yeah, then maybe people that have like deeper champion pool will shine. Yeah.
I'm very excited to see because I know we're not going to have this meta for playoffs because there will be a patch, but this meta is very interesting with like lane swaps and Xante and all that. What are your thoughts on this meta?
I mean, I think my thoughts are the same as probably everyone. Everyone hates lane swaps, except Riot Games. I guess they don't they are still not figuring out how to cancel it, even though I can figure it out probably in 5 minutes.
That's a message to write. Hire him as the team.
It is actually very easy to stop it, but I have no idea why they don't do it. So, yeah, I guess we will enjoy another like half a year of not laning.
I am very curious about this 5-minute solution. Can you share it with us right now?
Yeah, I mean, you can just, for example, make the top lane first 3 waves, give Valex XP when you are 2 people. That's one solution fixed.
Yeah, you hear that, Riot? That's your solution. And I mean, you would be surprised as to what other players think, because like some players have said that it's not so bad. Some said hate it, love it. But is it like a shared opinion on your team about lane swaps?
I mean, I have never seen anyone actually from pro players like lane swaps. I'm pretty sure everyone hates it. So, yeah, I think the meta in terms of what champions are being played is fine, and there's a lot of champions being played on every role that I think it's completely fine. But if there was no lane swaps, it would be way better.
I see. All right, thank you so much for your insightful comments. And is there anything else you want to add?
No, just thank you all for all the fans, and see ya.
All right, thank you so much for your time, and see you next week.